Hey y'all, I'm back with part two of my Democratic primary Q&A. I had dinner plans yesterday, yeah, so I had to cut it off before I can get to all the questions. But I'm kind of happy that I have part two because there was huge news today, which is Senator Kamala Harris, my girl, is riding with Biden. She went on ahead, came out, and made her endorsement. Are y'all motherfucking happy now? Oh my God. Y'all was wearing Kamala's ass out about this motherfucking endorsement. Where was all this energy about what's Kamala gonna do when her ass is in the motherfucking race? Did you motherfuckers donate? Did your motherfuckers get out there and canvas and phone bank and all the other kind of shit? No. But you want her to sit up there and play clean up on aisle 6 with y'all. Be clear, I'm not saying that's what she's doing because I have nothing but the utmost respect and admiration and adoration for Kamala. Whatever Kamala says, I'm with it. I won't say whatever, because if she had endorsed Bernie, it would have been a chaos revolt. But she didn't. She's riding with Biden, riding with Biden, riding with Biden. Now, for me personally, I'm not all the way there yet. I've made it very clear with my personal criteria is I need to see VP. Period. I'm not taking my foot off anybody's motherfucking neck until I see what this VP shit is. Because you done dangled Kamala. Now it's time to pay up. Today, in church, Biden said, if I'm a comeback kid, it's because of the African-American community. That's right, Joe. It's because of the African-American community. It's because the African-American community wants Kamala Harris on that ticket. So as much as I love and adore and respect Kamala, and her word carries the utmost weight with me. But I'm not taking my foot off Joe's neck. I'm not going to do it. And y'all need to keep your foot on his neck too. Because what he's not going to be able to do is take our motherfucking votes for granted. Endorsement or no endorsement. So, first 2 minutes on Twitter, then we can go on ahead and go over to YouTube to catch the rest. Okay. I have my coffee here because, child, this spring forward is it's taking a toll. Is it taking a toll on you? Marco Rubio may have been on to something, child. He has a bill he wants to get passed. And I was like, what the fuck? Y'all worried about the wrong shit. But goddamn it, I'm feeling it today. Now, I did have 2 or 3 cocktails at the Smithsonian. Great event for Baldwin. But I'm tired. But duty calls. And so I have these questions to get you. Now, I said, are you motherfucking happy now? But I know that's not the case. Because when it comes to a black woman, y'all always gonna find something to be fake ass mad about. Y'all get on my whole ass nerves. You really do. So I've seen different comments on Kamala Harris's endorsement. So I'm going to address some of them, and then I'll get to these questions. The first comment. You guys weren't satisfied with the cinematography of her video. Well, Kamala Harris was in Selma for a march across Edmund Pettus Bridge with the great John Lewis. I'm sorry that she wasn't in fucking Hollywood in front of the Hollywood sign and she wasn't glamorous enough for you, but did you listen to the motherfucking message? Did you listen to the message? Did you hear out? Or are you just looking? Like I said, you always find something to be fake mad about. There were lots of glossy videos that certain people put out here, and it didn't get them anywhere. So maybe substance over superficial things matters a little bit more to voters. The message is clear. Next point. Well, why didn't Kamala Harris endorse before California? Y'all some whiny little bitches. Do y'all even understand how this shit works? Joe Biden never stood a motherfucking chance in California. If you had watched any of my videos, you would understand that. You would understand that even with a Kamala Harris endorsement, he would have still lost. Did you not notice that Governor Gavin Newsom also didn't endorse Joe Biden? Because Joe's ass was still gonna fucking lose. Now, he had lightning strike, for real. And he was able to come back in many other states, but California is a different beast. There was already well over 1 million votes cast in early voting. And it just wasn't a state that was conducive to Joe having a massive comeback like he did other places. So I think that Kamala did the right thing, number one. Because it's not impactful if you endorse somebody and they still lose the state. Do y'all not understand that? It's not impactful. And instead, what it is, it ends up being embarrassing for the person who endorses. And it just becomes an explanation. Well, why didn't this endorsement have an impact? Nobody wants to explain that. Now, I saw somebody have a little comment. Are you trying to say that Kamala Harris shouldn't have put herself on the line to endorse Joe, but he needs to definitely put her on the ticket? That's exactly what the fuck I'm trying to say. But what you missed in that is that it's no impact in an endorsement if you're still gonna fucking lose. That's what you're not getting. So what is the point of endorsing somebody who's going to lose that state? For Kamala, somebody of her stature, somebody who's going to have to run in 2022 if she's not on the ticket, if she's not in the administration. It doesn't make sense, people. I understand that not everybody understands politics, but it doesn't make sense. So it makes sense for that reason. That's one good reason why she had to wait. Now she doesn't have to explain why her endorsement didn't mean shit for a motherfucker who was going to lose anyway. He wasn't organized well in California. He didn't have ad money. There was nothing that Joe was doing that was going to win him the state of California at any point, period. So that's number one. Number two, a thing that I really like about Kamala Harris's timing, she waited until both Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren were out of the race. Now, understand, as a Black woman, she's given this much rope. Really this much. This much? That's how much rope she's getting. She's given this much grace. So imagine the howling, the wails that would have come from people if Kamala Harris stepped all over the white woman in the race. Imagine that. Now, some people might say, wasn't that what Amy did? Amy's a white woman. Amy can go against another white woman with no problem. But a Black woman, Kamala Harris, does not have the same grace. She does not have the same latitude. I done told y'all motherfuckers back of the bus primary. So, I think it was very wise. Very wise. And I'm not saying that there was a political calculation that Kamala took. I'm saying that it's a smart political calculation, whether it factored into her thought or not. Because as a Black woman who would be perceived to have been trampling on two white women, even though all the data said they didn't have a snowball's fucking chance of hell of winning the nomination, it would have been problematic for her. It would have been a bigger issue for her. It would have been resentment. It would have been like, well, aren't you putting your foot on the scales? You're not supporting women. It would have been all that shit. So I think she was very, very wise. She was very gracious and she was very wise. So just wait. Now her endorsement has an impact without the blowback. But y'all don't even see all that shit. Y'all only look at the short term. You don't look at the blowback that Black women in particular get from every single move that they make. So that's another good reason why her timing was really excellent. Again, like I said in my part 1 video with Warren being out of the race, it also opens up the door for a VP announcement. Now, I didn't say it. If Biden goes with a white woman, child, we ain't gonna hear shit about no motherfucking VP until all the Blacks have voted. Because Joe Biden does not want the Blacks to know that all that dangling shit was a dangle. It was a con. It was a farce. He just wants us to know that. So he'll drag it out as long as possible. I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen. What I'm saying is he's not gonna let us know that he ain't picking Kamala or no Black woman until the last possible moment. That's what I'm saying. And for the record, if y'all thought that Kamala endorsing somebody meant that I wasn't going to be brutally fucking honest, then you thought wrong. Because I'm still going to be unbossed and unfiltered. Now, I think that Monday in Detroit, where Kamala is going to be with a Joe Biden at a rally, that'd be a great time for a VP announcement. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I think it could put Bernie Sanders away. Bernie Sanders is having a time with Black voters, chill. And then did y'all see his Black voter outreach person was trashing Michelle Obama? Trashing her looks, calling her unattractive? Who the fuck do you think you are? Are you Boris Coach? Are you more chestnut feel? I don't think so. Why don't I look at you from this angle? Why don't I look at you from this angle? Why don't I look at you from this angle? Who the fuck are you to talk about Michelle Obama's looks? Fuck you. But as for Bernie Sanders, when it got to be his black outreach director, how are you gonna be our black outreach director? You dissing a black woman, the black woman that almost all black women like. Now I understand that some of the Bernie bros and broettes don't really care for Michelle Obama, but that's not the average black person. Auntie Michelle, she's beautiful, by the way. So I don't know what the fuck you talking about for you. But anyway, Bernie Sanders is having a time. Woo, Chad, you going ahead and put Kamala on that ticket? He's gone. He's done. Now, I'm not saying he's going to drop out, but he ain't have a snowball's chance in hell, Chad, of ever breaking through with black voters. So, I think that that's all I need to say right now about Kamala Harris and her endorsement of Joe and about the VP. I will answer more. I have more commentary on that if I have any additional questions. So let me get to the rest of the questions. Let me see. Yesterday, I left off. I talked about will coronavirus impact the elections, and somebody asked a question about Joe Biden being handed the nomination on a silver platter, and I answered honestly as I always do. Now, let's see. Where are we at? Okay. I figured this could slot under Dem primary question. I've seen the idea of that running for president damaged Kamala, at least politically, if I remember right. Do you agree with that sentiment in any way? How do you feel about this primary compared to 2016? Is anything better or worse? Absolutely not. Damage Kamala, how? Kamala has a higher profile. She had almost a year of traveling the country, getting to know voters. She's a sitting U.S. senator who's held in very high esteem. I don't know if you guys saw her performance in the Senate. She did an excellent job during impeachment. She's really has her foot on their necks about this coronavirus stuff. Kamala is not damaged in any way, shape, or form. She gracefully bowed out before she experienced any humiliating losses. She saw the writing is on the wall. She's very, very intelligent. She understands if I don't have the money to compete, I'm going to lose. That's what she understood. And so I don't see in any way, shape, or form how she could possibly be damaged from this. I don't know who came up with that idea, but that's absurd. How do you feel about this primary compared to 2016? I don't know. I think 2016, I don't know. I think that it was cool that Hillary was the nominee. We had a historic candidate. This year, we ain't going to have a historic candidate. So that's worse. I think this year was a farce. So that's worse. But that's really all about it. That's really all I got to say about that. I think Hillary Clinton definitely put her foot up Bernie Sanders' ass more than anybody else did this time. Somebody has something. What is this? It's just, what is your take on this? Hold on. California Expos. Brian, I am so sorry, but I have a lot of stuff to get through, so I don't have time to go through all these expos for California. I'm sorry. Does the March 10th primary look like another blowout for Biden? Well, let's see. What's on the horizon for March 10th? So March 10th, we have Idaho. No polling there. Michigan should go to Biden. Mississippi should be a blowout for Biden. Missouri should go to Biden. North Dakota, no polling. And Washington will. It's a toss-up. So, to the extent that, I don't think it's going to be a full-blown blowout except for in Mississippi. I think that's going to be a blowout. But Michigan, I don't know about Michigan. Let me see if there's some polling on that. What do I have for Michigan? There's been a lot of robust campaigning. In Michigan, Amy Klobuchar is out there. Kamala's getting out there, chill. So all the people like, well, why should Kamala be VP? She's not even out there. Amy Klobuchar. Okay, Amy Klobuchar has been out there for 3 days. What the fuck? Y'all act like this. Y'all act like Amy has been out there with fucking Joe Biden for months. What is y'all talking about? But anyways. And truth be told, Kamala's presence was all over the place. She didn't have to be out there the number of times they name dropped Kamala's name. but she will be there in person, in the flesh, in the physical realm. Anyways, let's see. Michigan. Okay, it says that Joe Biden is ahead at polling aggregate 37.8 to Sanders 30%. Not a ton of polling there. Nothing that's come out since everybody dropped out, except for those two and Tulsi. But it should be Joe. Joe should be able to win that. And then Missouri, let's see about that one. What do we have in Missouri? Okay, this is a more commanding lead in Missouri. Shows Biden 53% to 31%, with for Sanders are 48% to 44%. So it's looking a lot better for Joe. But keep in mind that, it's not going to end up being 48-30 because it's only two people. Let's say that Tulsi Gabbard gets 1%. So if anything, it'll be like 52-48 or something like that, but or that 48 might be a floor. And then, that remaining, I guess, what would this be? 20% is going to be distributed some way or another. But the map, the terrain certainly favors Joe Biden going into this next Tuesday. He has the wind at his back, or is it the wind at his sails? However that goes. He has the momentum. Now, Bernie is going pretty dirty. He's on these talk shows, kind of trashing them and bringing up some of his baggage. But I think that might be a little bit too late for Bernie. It's too late. If Biden takes Michigan, is there still a path for the tired old white man with no real accomplishments? It's two tired old white men in jail, but I think by no accomplishments, you're talking about Bernie. Will the idea of a brokered convention vanish? Also, yeah, you need video. Okay, well, I have the new forecast. And the forecast, this is 538. I've been, following the forecast this entire time, child. After Super Tuesday, there is an overwhelming chance that Joe Biden will win more than half of the pledged delegates. The 538 forecast is now saying that Joe Biden has an 89% chance of winning a majority of pledged delegates. That means that Joe Biden wins the nomination outright. In second place, it's that nobody will win it, and that's a 1 in 12 chance, 9%. And then in third place, now 1 in 50 chance of Bernie Sanders winning the majority of pledged delegates is 2% Bernie Sanders. So, yeah, I think that the thing about Joe is he has to continue to rack up these wins. If he falters, that can make people a little skittish, but I don't think that he's going to falter enough. I think that to the extent that Bernie wins, you're going to also have Joe wins. So, yeah. Like I said, it's Joe's race to lose at this point. Okay, so, like I said, Joe's race to lose at this point. So, but I do have concerns. I'm going to say it again. I have concerns. Here's what concerns me. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. But we do understand that we live in a post-factual alternative facts universe. And the narrative that really, really concerns me about Joe is that the Bernie Sanders people, through back channels, are really trying to drive home this whole mentally declining, cognitively declining narrative. That concerns me. Now, of course, Joe defenders have said, well, he has a stuttering issue, and, that's why sometimes his speech is a little off, or he struggles to find the right words because of his difficulty saying certain words. That's a perfectly logical explanation. But we do have to understand that we live in a post-factual society. Now, I don't think that there's enough time by March 10th. I put lotion on, Chad. I'm not going to talk about my ashy hands. There's not enough time, obviously, to drive that point home. But we know, based on how they've treated other candidates, that sometimes they can be effective in piercing through and establishing a narrative. And so that's what concerns me, because, they've selectively edited clips of Joe Biden to make it seem like he's slurring or other things. He's forgetful. And there's going to be a debate that's going to come up after this next Tuesday. And, I've said before that Joe Biden has only had to speak for 16 minutes cumulatively over 3 hours. Now he's going to have to go toe to toe with Bernie. So I think that people are going to be on high alert for any kind of slipping, any kind of gaffes, any kind of anything that they can take and run with it. So that's what concerns me. I'm not saying that it's fair. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if you're riding with Joe, be prepared to push back on that notion, Joe. Be very prepared for that, because that's what's coming. Don't shoot the messenger. I just tell you what's going to happen 5 steps before it happens. Question. My state won't vote for weeks yet, and the primary has practically been decided with less than one half the states voting. Has there ever been a DNC establishment discussion of trying to ensure later primaries still have voting impact on the nominee? Thanks. I don't know. Has there? I mean, it's been... I don't think that it's universally been that way. I mean, I remember with Hillary and Obama, Barack Obama, it went through Joe, if I'm not mistaken, and went quite a ways through. I think that to see such a galvanization for one particular candidate the day before Super Tuesday, where you had 1,300 delegates on the table, I feel like it's kind of unprecedented, considering that the whole table was just cleared. The whole field was cleared out overnight. So I don't know, but I don't think that it's out of the ordinary for not every state to be able to weigh in. It looked like that was probably going to happen. It looked like we're going to have a brokered convention, but now it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I think that the one thing I can say is perhaps there would be a push to do away with caucuses. There would perhaps be a push to change the voting order. Those are things that I could see, but anything more drastic than that, I'm not even hearing any buzz about that. I'm growing increasingly more alarmed at the insidious nature of Sanders' posts. Not to mention the posts of most of his influential surrogates, namely AOC. Do you think her seemingly celebrity status helps drive Latino support, or is it stance on Medicare for all? How does Joe get to improve? I am not in a position to speak on why Bernie Sanders is resonating with Latino voters versus Joe Biden. I haven't been able to identify anything in Bernie Sanders' record that is particularly pro-Latino. So I don't understand. I know that Latinos are not monolithic, but that's really all that I can tell you, to be honest. I stay in my lane, chair, okay? I can tell you general stuff and I can tell you black stuff, but I don't try to venture too much into Latino support, because I'm not equipped to discuss that. I don't know what impact, if any, AOC status is having with the Latino community. The Medicare for All seems to be quite popular. Certainly. How does Joe get to improve? I mean, I think that there's a difference between, a candidate doing better with one demographic or another in the primaries versus doing better with the demographic or another in the general election. I don't see where, let's say Bernie Sanders, Latino support would be impenetrable for Joe. And, once Bernie Sanders is no longer in the race. So I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that. I don't know if there's anything in particular that people are identifying as being problematic at Joe's record. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know the answer to that. But I do agree with you that there's an insidiousness. And a lot of the tactics that Sanders supporters, broettes, surrogates are employing, that's politics. Politics is a dirty game, Joe. What specific policy ideas, platforms from other candidates should Biden adopt to woo young progressive voters? That's a good question. I think that student loan debt seems to be a particular concern for progressive young voters. So I think that he should put forth some sort of plan for that. I don't know, maybe he has. Certainly he's not going to go as far as student loan forgiveness. But I think that putting something like that forward helps. I think that, to be honest, I would think that Obamacare would have some sort of goodwill, because a lot of people were positively impacted by Obamacare. Kick this freaking camera. With being able to stay on their parents' insurance to 26 years old. And so I think that, to a certain extent, Joe Biden does have accomplishments in this area, in areas that you can objectively say have improved the lives of younger people. I don't think he's going to be able to adopt democratic socialist policies. That's not Joe's candidacy. So I would say that, student loan debt is probably the bigger thing, trying to figure out an approach to that would woo some people. But on the other hand, Trump has nothing to offer that group either. So yeah. Will you be dragging anyone this time? Don't I always drag jail? I don't lie on people. I do drag, but I don't lie on people. Do you think Bernie calling Cali at 38% will be his undoing, as ballots are still being counted and Biden is slowly closing the gap? I don't think anything will be his undoing per se. I think Bernie will still be in the lead. I think that Biden is closing the gap, but Bernie is still quite a bit ahead. But at the end of the day, what happened out of California is Bernie did not get the lead that he needed. He needed to score some overwhelming victories, particularly in California and in Texas. He lost Texas to Biden, and he is winning California, but Biden is keeping it close. And so he did not have mission accomplished in California. Now his win in California is keeping him in the running. But again, the terrain is not favorable to Bernie Sanders going forward. I like you to talk about college debt. Some people in their 50s still, I've already talked about it, but I'll still read this question. Some people are in their 50s still paying college debt. So why do Bernie's kids think they only they have it hard? Damn, in their 50s? Did you? Okay, let me read. Why should middle class supplement Bernie's grandkids' college? Hell, we didn't even have cable, iPhones, electric scooters, or mom's basement. Oh my God. I think that's the quandary, right? Because people are like, fuck you and your student loans, bitch. I'm not paying for your shit. I have my student loans, bitch. You're going to have your student loans. That's the dilemma. Or people who paid off their student loans, it's like, fuck you. I'm responsible. I paid out my student loans. I don't give a fuck about your student loans, right? And so that's why I think that there's no fucking chance in hell that student loan forgiveness will pass in the Senate or the House. I don't know. I think this kind of sounds a little bit like pitting, like, what do they call it? Boomers versus the millennials, or what are we on? Gen Z, Gen X, Gen Y? I don't know what the fuck we on now. But I think people are saying so much maybe people are saying they have it harder, but I think, here's the thing. Let me just put it this way and then I'll move on. Every demographic is trying to get something out of it, right? Every demographic, and not monolithically, but every demographic has their priorities. I don't begrudge people if they hear somebody saying, I'm going to forgive all your student loans, you ain't got to pay shit back, and I'm going to forgive whatever the fuck else. You going to get all this free shit. I don't begrudge somebody for being like, yeah, let's go with that dude. Is it going to happen? No. But why not shoot for the stars? What does it say? Shoot for the stars, you might land on the moon. Why not? But I think that there is a penalty to a certain extent for being honest. And Hillary Clinton paid that penalty because she didn't say, you're going to get all this free shit. She didn't say that everything is possible. All you have to do is just try. She was very realistic. And I think that there was a penalty for that. When am I going to see you on my television give analysis? Child, if you have a smart TV, you can go right onto YouTube and play this video on YouTube. Okay. I discovered that. Also, I'm on Roland Martin on Thursdays. Roland Martin Unfiltered. It's a digital show, but I still think that counts. As far as some of these more mainstream things, I don't know, y'all think I'm a little bit too raw for this mainstream shit. I'm not about to fucking water myself down. No thanks. Please explain neoliberalism. Child, how? I don't know what the fuck they talking about. I did look it up, and I was just like, fuck y'all. They just be saying that shit. You talking about Bernie bros and bros, they just say that shit. Liberal, progressive has a brown paper bag test. This need not fucking apply. All of a sudden, this ain't progressive jail. Now, this is fine. That's why I said, okay, well then fuck being progressive. If my establishment, then fuck it, I'm establishment. If I'm moderate, fuck it, I'm moderate. If I'm centrist, fuck it, I'm centrist. Because what you not motherfucking go sit up there and do is have my ass grovel to your motherfucking loser ass who they ain't win no fucking elections, ain't won no goddamn primaries, ain't accomplished shit, ain't gonna ever accomplish shit. And you gonna have me fucking grovel to your ass over a fucking title? You can kiss my whole ass. So yeah, all that neoliberal shit, fucking call people whatever the fuck you want to call a bitch. You still losing all your motherfucking primaries and elections and you ain't gonna accomplish shit, so fuck off. Can't wait, love your podcast. Thank you. What changes do you think DNC needs to make going forward so qualified candidates of color get a fair look next time? I don't know, child. I do not know. Americans need to fucking change. That's the start. I've already said it in part 1. Let's talk to our cousins. Do you think Hillary will be offered a position in the Biden administration? And if so, would you take it? I don't see why. Now, I love Hillary, Chad. Don't get me wrong, but Hillary's chilling. Hillary got a Hulu documentary. Hillary is doing. She did her. What she have? A book tour. Hillary got a podcast coming out. What the fuck she want to go work for Biden for? She been there, done that, got a t-shirt. Hillary is chilling. She is retired. So I don't see that happening. And to be honest, I think that we need. Why do we have to keep going back to the same well? No disrespect to Hillary. Hillary's exceptionally talented. But isn't it time to try to get some people in there, start building a pipeline so that we don't end up with 2 septuagenarians as the front runners next time? For fuck's sake. Okay. Need something to look forward to after my surgery. Can't wait. I hope you're feeling better, girl. Why did Latino voters for Sanders break in California? Can we draw any conclusions? Or how they may vote in other states? I do not know. I've answered that earlier. I don't know. I'm sorry. I cannot help you there. I'm going to stay in my lane, Jen. This is my lane right here. I'm staying in it. Because I would be sitting up here talking mad shit. Somebody was talking shit about how black voters vote in this, that, and the other. I'm like, bitch, that's how the fuck you know? So anyways. If you could have only one policy come out of a Biden administration, what would it be? I don't know. Oh, you know what? Repeal that motherfucking Trump tax scam. That's what I want. I want you to restore the SALT deduction. I know that's very middle class of me, Chad. Very blue state of me. But my taxes is fucked right now, and I want my taxes to go back. If we go back to normal, child, let my taxes go back to the Obama administration normal, because I was doing quite well. Now my motherfucking ass is getting raked over the coals with taxes. So if I had to pick one, that would be it, taxes. Did you see the forum on racial and economic justice in Flint? Would love to get your take on it. I'm sorry, but I didn't. Would Stacey Kemp, are you talking about Abrams, be a solid choice for VP? And if so, is America ready for an intelligent black female who would hold the old establishment accountable? I do not believe, and y'all gonna be like, bitch, I can't believe you saying this shit. I thought you're supposed to be pro-black woman. Why yada. I've already made it clear. I'm not feeling the blank black. Now, I'm gonna go for Stacey Abrams before I go over somebody else, like a Amy or Gretchen, the Michigan governor, or other people. But Stacey is not my first choice. I don't think that Stacey is as nearly as qualified as Kamala Harris. Somebody was just trolling the fuck, I think, out of us, talking about, they said that Kamala Harris has a dedicated Twitter following, but she does not have a broad coalition that Stacey Abrams does. Now, I don't like to drag black women, so I've been very restrained. But need I remind you that Kamala Harris is a sitting U.S. senator of the most populous state, a state that's very diverse, a state that has a high Asian AAPI population, Latino population, black population, and white population. And she's won. She's won every race statewide. So what the fuck is you talking about? Doesn't have a broad coalition. Don't make me drag people, Chad, because I want to be nice. I love black women. I support black women. But don't do me. Don't do Kamala. Because I'll drag anybody over Kamala. On the hierarchy, Kamala's first, because she's the most qualified. But I'm sure Stacey will be happy to be playing BVP chair. I said it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. No shade to Stacey though, but we're going to be honest and we're going to be honest. What's your opinion on people projecting on Kamala onto potential Biden nominee presidency? Do you think people are still willing for her departure, or is she actually the best person on the ticket? She is the best person to be on the ticket, period. Period. And like I said, the way that her name has been dangled and used to secure black votes and to prop up Joe, I said it, she deserves to be on that ticket. If she wasn't the best person, then why the fuck are they using her name every time it's on the radio? It's just logic. But I will break down other reasons why she's the best person. Number one, she's exceptionally qualified. Y'all may not know, but Kamala Harris has an economics degree from Howard. Okay. Again, I've already gone down her list. She's a trailblazer. She was her first black woman. Also, woman of Asian descent. I know y'all don't always put that in there. But when I say black/Asian, okay, let me do that. A woman to be a San Francisco DA, to be a U.S. Senator from the state of California. She's the second black woman U.S. Senator. And so those are qualifications. If you just follow Kamala Harris's work, actually look up Kamala Harris's legislation. I said it yesterday, Kamala Harris has a breadth of topics that she's addressed legislatively. She sits on these really important committees. She's in intelligence. She's in the Department of Governmental Affairs. She's on did I say intelligence? She's on Judiciary Committee, and there's another one. I want to say budget, maybe. I don't have it in front of me, but I've done a thread on this. So she is exceptionally qualified. She generates enthusiasm. She's incredibly charismatic. Very, very charismatic. She has an it factor. Now, I've met both President Obama and I've met Senator Kamala Harris. Now, before I met her personally, I saw her. And when she walked into the room, you know what I thought? I thought, that's presidential. Her aura. I tell you, if Kamala didn't have that, I wouldn't say it, because I'm not a bullshitter. I'm not just starstruck. That's what I said a full year before I met Kamala. I said she's presidential. She has an it factor. That same aura that Obama has, I saw that in Kamala. It was different. It had a more feminine energy, don't get me wrong, but it's presidential. It's charismatic. You have a draw to her. And people who met Kamala on the trail loved Kamala. They loved Kamala. And truth be told, I think that's why some people are salty, Chair, because they want to be on Kamala's radar and they're not. But she's absolutely the most qualified. I think she will generate great enthusiasm. And she's worked her ass off. And it's time. How about that? How did Bernie go to a black town like Detroit and host such a white rally? That's a good ass question. I'd like to know the answer to that. That's very typical of his rallies, though. Should the DNC allow Tulsi to debate to avoid an unforced error of looking like they're rigging in order to unite? I just like Tulsi, just curious on your thoughts. No, why the fuck should I let her ass debate for what? She's irrelevant. She's a non-factor. She has 2 delegates. She's lost. Bad. She hasn't debated for several debates. Why make accommodations now? I don't think that people should be rewarded for staying in there long past their expiration date. So no, it's not about looking like they're rigging in order to unite jail. I mean, everybody else is gone. So she's just hanging around. She need to get booted. How do you feel about the changing tactics of Bernie campaign running? Nothing against the establishment. Not going against the establishment. More personal attacks on Joe. Is it a winning or losing strategy? Winning or losing strategy? I don't think that he has a whole lot of choice. It's the same thing I said with Elizabeth Warren. You kind of don't have a lot of choice but to go after the person. But it can absolutely backfire that you're going after a person. And going after Joe in a more personal manner, yeah, to a certain extent, is it going to backfire? Yeah, to a certain extent. But what else? What other choices do you have? To just let fucking Joe Walters out to the nomination? No. Joe's campaign is a character campaign. Roland Martin said this best. Joe is running a character campaign. And so in order to undercut Joe, you're not going to be able to undercut Joe on policy. Nobody really is tripping that hard on that. So you have to undercut Joe on character. I'm not saying that that's okay. I'm just saying that's the only method that Bernie has left. So yeah, that's what he's going to do. But I think it's too little too late. I just honestly want your opinion. Do you think Bernie or Joe can beat Trump? That's what I think about. Thank you. I think that Trump is an incumbent, and I think it's incredibly difficult to beat an incumbent. Period. I don't think that Trump's numbers are as in the tank as they should be. But I think that what's propping up Trump is a great economy. Now, y'all may not say the economy is great, but most people consider the economy pretty good. But I think if he botches the coronavirus response, the coronavirus seems like it's going to have a drag on the economy, then I think they can boot motherfucker Trump's ass out. So I think it just depends on how the economy holds up. It's obvious that Trump cannot bring himself to be presidential in terms of this response to coronavirus. I think that is it possible that Bernie can win the Electoral College? I mean, polling suggests that he can, but I think that Bernie comes with a lot more issues, down ballot race issues than Joe Biden does. And I think with him being the standard bearer, you're going to have a lot of candidates that are congressional candidates, even statewide candidates, that are going to have to run against Bernie. And I don't think that's productive. So I'm a data person, so I cannot in good faith say that either one of them can't beat Trump, but I'm going to say that I think it's very difficult. I already talked about who would win each state. Why do you think Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren are withholding their endorsements? Well, Kamala endorsed. Elizabeth Warren, I talked about that a little bit in part one. I think she's a little resentful. And I think she's really upset about how things went down. And I don't know. Maybe she just feels like, fuck y'all. Can't you blame her? I can't entirely blame her, child. Nobody came to her rescue. So, all right. At the end of that, let's see if you guys asked any questions when I said, okay, I'll get to part two. Let me see. Do you see any situation that Kamala's offered VP and declines? That would presumably fuck Joe up, but also with regards to part one, really disappointed people hoping for the VP carrot. Is it possible? I do not see a scenario where Kamala Harris declines VP. And I'm going to tell you why. You do not turn down Jim Clyburn, period. If Kamala is offered, I expect that she will accept. Unless Kamala is really on some fuck y'all shit, I expect that she would accept. The fact that she endorsed Joe lets me know she's on some fuck y'all shit. So I do not foresee a situation where she's offered and declines. She needs to be offered right of first refusal before they go to anybody else. And I'm going to keep beating that motherfucking drum. I think if she were to decline, not going to be good. Not going to be good. I already said that there was Operation Block the Black Woman jail. I think she was pushed out the race. So the last thing she needs, jail, is to create enemies by turning down VP. I think somebody put it best, and I don't recall exactly who said this, but somebody said, if you get offered VP, you don't turn it down. But you don't get offered VP unless they know you're going to accept it. So I think that is a situation that we're dealing with. But yeah, that's what I think. I think Jim Clyburn is running the show. I think that Kamala has very strong allies in terms of the CBC. Presumably it would be more tied to Kamala Harris. I think that the California delegation, certainly she has a ton of allies there. And I think that she did herself a favor by coming out now and getting to Detroit tomorrow, because Amy Klobuchar, even though that only be 2 motherfucking days, 2 days. But I think you're going to see, and I'm going to be frank, white people, not all, be clear, but white people are going to start pivoting to, well, what about Amy? Amy should be VP. You know, these motherfuckers know what they doing. And by motherfuckers, I don't mean white people. I mean the people that are pivoting there beforehand. We're talking about Biden Harris. You know, people know how to play these games, Shell. Oh, I think Kamala should be on the ticket. And then they turn around and switch up the energy once the black motherfuckers vote. Isn't that convenient? So I think that we have to beat that drum that we ain't going to accept that shit. You got our votes, Joe. Respect our votes. Okay. What else? Anything else? Okay. Sorry if it's a pause. Let me see. Any questions? Somebody said, is there a lower level of risk in being named as a future member of the cabinet rather than VP? Not expected to make the ticket win as much as VP is. Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you're just named as a cabinet member, then you don't have an obligation. I mean, you don't get the stench of a loss potentially if the ticket doesn't win. So there's lower risk in that. Yeah, you kind of get the gravitas, you get the increased stature without having to do as much of the work. Now, presumably, Joe will have a slew of people out there as surrogates working on his behalf. And so they will be expected to put in work. But ultimately, the losers, if they lose, are the presidential pick and the VP. So there is lower risk there. Now, somebody said cabinet posts are always for U.S. Senator. Good chance for you to take the Senate. She'll have a powerful platform there. I do not agree. All cabinet posts are not created equal. If you guys even look at the presidential succession, you will understand that the most prestigious and the highest ranking cabinet position in the administration is Secretary of State. Now, I know that we have a bunch of incompetent fucking morons in the Trump administration, but prior to the Trump administration, it used to mean something to be Secretary of State. And I don't think for 1 second that being a U.S. Senator is a more powerful platform than being the Secretary of State, the face of America abroad, the face of our diplomacy. We have to get back into the Paris Climate Accord. We have to renegotiate the Iran nuclear agreement. We have to figure out what the fuck is going on with North Korea. We have so many challenges. You have Brexit that's happened now. There's so many challenges that we have to tackle, and the Secretary of State will be the face of that. So, I don't know if y'all just don't even look at Kamala and see Secretary of State, but I'm saying Secretary of State if she's not VP. Be clear. Now, Attorney General, I'm adamantly opposed to that. Now, I don't have a vote, but I don't think that Attorney General gets her anything. And it's no shade to Attorney Generals, though. One more point about Secretary of State. No Democratic administration has nominated a Black person to be Secretary of State. Republicans have nominated 2. The Democrats need to motherfucking rectify that. If you fuck over Black voters with the VP pick, you for fuck sure damn well better have a Black person Secretary of State. Period. Don't put us in the back of the bus cabinet positions like y'all like to do. No shade to anybody who's a Black person that had a cabinet position, but I'm just going to be honest. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions? Anything else? You know, somebody's sharing this segregation and stuff for Joe Biden. What the fuck y'all want me to do with that information? Nobody cared. So what you want me to do with it? I can't do shit about it. You won't have a problem with me on Joe's record as long as you keep Kamala Harris's motherfucking name out your mouth. Somebody was trying it with me, talking about, oh, Kamala and this debate attack. And I've been hearing a lot more of that. Fuck you. Don't make me have to drag Joe. Don't make me have to do that. I don't want to. I've already said all I need to say when all this shit came out. So, don't malign Kamala Harris over her experience because Joe's record is problematic. Don't go there. It's not productive. Unfortunately, Joe is what we got. And Bernie Sanders don't have a great record either. Okay. Anything else? Okay, I think that's it. I think I got through everything. Let me just see one more question. Let me see if anybody put anything on my thing. Okay. Somebody asked again. I've already answered the would it have been better if if Kamala had endorsed Biden before Super Tuesday, and I already answered that at the very beginning. Anything else? Anything else? Question for part 2. I'm 100% Biden Harris, but I would so love to see Harris get the next SCOTUS, given how purely political SCOTUS has become. Isn't that possible? I mean, y'all be acting like it's only one black woman. It's funny how we have, and this is no shade to you, Mandy. It's no shade to you, but you know, it's funny how in one case, we have fill in the blank black. Again, I'm not saying this is you, Mandy. I'm just saying in general. In one situation, we have fill in the blank black. All black people are interchangeable. And then in other cases, we have that there can only be one black person. There are black women who sit on the federal bench that are qualified. I think Kamala Harris is obviously qualified as well. But I think that we have to expand that. I think I've seen some really good suggestions for SCOTUS. I support anything that Kamala Harris wants to do. But yeah. Anything else? Somebody said he'll pick Stacey Abrams. Kamala will get offered the AG position just like Obama offered her. She shouldn't turn it down this time. Why the fuck would Kamala Harris need to be Joe Biden's attorney general? Why the fuck would y'all even think that Joe Biden has even higher stature than President Obama? Why the fuck do you think that a U.S. sitting senator should go from being a U.S. sitting senator who sits on powerful committees to being attorney general, the 5th ranked cabinet position? No. If you think that she should accept that, then you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I know that's rude, but that's the fucking truth. Absolutely not. And okay, here's the thing. I'm not saying that Stacey will not be selected to be VP, but I would like you to explain to me what alliances does Stacey have, specific people that Stacey has that will advocate for her over Kamala Harris. I would like for you to explain that to me. Stacey Abrams is a local figure. She did not win her statewide race. Now, y'all going to say voter suppression, all that kind of stuff. That's fine. But Stacey Abrams does not have Congressional Black Caucus people that are pushing her. Have y'all heard Brenda Lawrence? Have y'all heard Jim Clyburn? Have y'all heard Barbara Boxer? Not Barbara Boxer, I'm sorry, Barbara Lee? Or anybody else? Sheila Jackson Lee? Have y'all heard them talk about Stacey Abrams? I haven't. What are y'all talking about? Kamala has an entire California delegation. Kamala has CBC people behind her. You need allies to get these positions. I'm not saying that that Stacey would not be selected, because at the end of the day, I would not be surprised if people wanted to fuck over Kamala. Back of the bus primary. But I don't have any logical reason to believe that Stacey would be picked over Kamala. I already talked about the latest Burrow attack on Biden and dementia. Whatever the fuck you talking about, this Bernie bro and this stupid ass shit. You know what? Fuck all you Bernie bros on my page. You can fuck all the way off. The way you motherfuckers came for Kamala Harris the whole motherfucking time, not even just when she was in a race, but back to 2017, you have no motherfucking standing to talk anything about what the fuck Kamala Harris does, bitch. Because if you don't like the fact that motherfucking Joe Biden is potentially going to be the nominee, that's your motherfucking fault, because y'all was on the Operation Block the Black Woman shit. So get the fuck off my page talking shit about what the fuck Kamala Harris does, bitch, when you motherfuckers that drove her ass out the goddamn race. And that's all I'm gonna fucking say about it. I'm not giving you motherfucking Bernie bros one more time. I will cuss every single last one of you motherfuckers out. Angela Jones, fuck you too. And on that note, that's all I have to say. Have a good one, y'all. I'm gonna finish my coffee and I'm gonna take a nap. I need a nap. Have a good night.